Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Robert Fornatera.
And I'm Jonah Summers. From a rare animal found in a peculiar place to a substantial amount of pollinators going missing. We'll have all the details.
Plus, we will have breaking news report about a shooting shocking the nation.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
A recent controversial plan has been gaining a lot of public backlash shortly following its announcement. Egypt's Antiquities Ministry announced last week their plan to restore the famed Giza pyramids. They plan to reinstall hundreds of granite blocks that used to form the outer layer of the smallest pyramid, the Pyramid of Menkaure. Currently, of the original 16 courses of granite blocks, only 7 remain today. Mustafa Wazari, the head of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, called the project, quote, the project of the century, as he made the announcement last week. The announcement of the project has since sparked a lot of criticism from social media users, with many expressing concerns over the pyramid's original architecture. Many believe that this plan is to prepare and cultivate the pyramids for crops and agriculture. To clear the worries, Zay Hawass, former Antiquities Minister, said, quote, no one will touch the pyramid. The pyramids are sacred, end quote. The plan has since been told it might not be possible given the current rock nature and restoration law. The project, if completed, is estimated to last for 3 years, with the project studying the falling blocks for at least 1. Waziri later said, it's too early now to discuss the reinstallation. Study results will be put forward to the International Committee before any next steps are taken.
A rare dinosaur-like snapping alligator turtle was found in England last week. The species was endangered due to human-related extraction as well as habitat loss over the past few years. However, some turtles still roam free. Experts say that the turtle has a ferocious enough bite that it can pierce a human bone. This specific species of turtle is native to places like Florida where there are warm rivers and swamps, so it's a bit out of the ordinary that this specific species would spawn in England. The species is capable of growing up to 180 pounds and almost 4 feet long when most mature. Dr. Dominic Mole, who works as a wildlife surgeon in Cumbria, England, noted the quote, they look quite prehistoric. It does almost look like a little dinosaur, end quote. After further examination, experts and Mole concluded that the turtle was owned by someone in England and then dumped into a nearby pond where it was later discovered. Mole and his colleagues noted that the experience was quite interesting and not something they deal with often. So, as anyone else would do, they named the turtle. And after a long list of desired names, the group fell on Fluffy. Mole and his colleagues have worked the past couple weeks caring for Fluffy, and over time will send the turtle to a wildlife specialist in Cornwall, England.
Athletes at the Paris Summer Olympics and Paralympics will be taking home more than just a medal for their achievements. Each gold, silver, and bronze medal will contain a small fragment of the Eiffel Tower inside it. This past Thursday, the Olympic Committee's game organizers unveiled the medal's design to the world. The fragment inside the medal will be a cut and polished piece of iron weighing roughly 18 grams that was taken several years ago and put in safekeeping. The pieces taken from the tower will cause no harm or risk to its stability, as every few years the tower undergoes construction to maintain its structure. A fundamental election took place in the nation of Pakistan. Our reporter Aaron Ute has the details on the election results as well as the reactions of the Pakistani citizens. Aaron?
This past Sunday, Pakistan released its official election results 3 days after the polls had closed. According to the Election Commission of Pakistan, independent candidates won 102 parliament seats. The majority of these independents are affiliated with former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party, the Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI. The Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party, also known as PMLN, headed by former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, gathered 73 seats, and the Pakistan People's Party, or known as PPP, won 54 seats. None of these three majority parties have won the necessary 169 seats to have the majority rule over Parliament, thus not being able to create a government of their own and making it unclear who will be picked as the country's next prime minister. The long-awaited election results were met with various acts of violence and claims of poll rigging. The PTI party called on party workers to hold protests outside of polling places. Pakistan's capital of Islamabad has imposed Section 14, allowing police to take legal action against any illegal activities or assemblies. This was only the country's third democratic election and the first national election since Khan was removed from power after a vote of no confidence in 2022. The selection for the next prime minister is expected by the end of this month.
In 2007, he was convicted for the murder of British student Meredith Kercher, but was released from prison in 2021. Today, he is in trouble with the Roman courts once again. 36-year-old Rudy Guede has been placed under surveillance after his former girlfriend filed a complaint against him for abuse. The Associated Press reported that the allegations were first reported by the unidentified woman this past summer, and a restraining order was then placed in December where Guede was not to be within 500 yards of his former girlfriend. Now, this new surveillance ruling does not permit Guede to have any contact with the woman on any social media platform. He also must inform the police whenever he leaves his central Italian city, Viterbo. Guede denies all abuse allegations against him. He also denied killing Kercher in the university city of Puerga, for which he served 14 years in prison. Now, when we return, beehives in California are missing. Find out what happened to them and what large prize is being offered to those who can locate them. Plus, hear about why a fisherman is facing jail time and a ban from entering a national park. We'll be right back. Earlier today, a shooting occurred in Kansas City, Missouri during the Kansas City Chiefs NFL Championship Parade. One person has died and 14 others are injured and have been taken to the hospital with their exact injuries unknown. 2 people have been taken into custody, though details about who they are, their motives, or how they were apprehended are still unknown. An estimated 600 police were already at the scene at the time of the shooting due to an estimated 1 million people being at the parade, more than double the station. Drew Tranquil, a linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, quote, "Pray that doctors and first responders would have steady hands and that all would experience full healing," end quote. This story is still developing. Be sure to come back next week for full details on this story.
Nearly 100 beehives in California's Central Valley were stolen from their field last month, with California police officials asking residents to be on the lookout. According to the Fresno County Sheriff's Office, 96 beehives valued at nearly $34,000 were stolen from their position late last month. The stolen hives, owned by South Dakota beekeeper Andy Strelo, owner of over 50,000 beehives that work in the Central California almond orchards, disappeared between 5:30 p.m. January 28th and 4 p.m. January 29th. Strelo said, quote, "I noticed a rather large gap and I said, that doesn't seem right. And then we noticed 96 hives were stolen," end quote. According to Strelo, it took 125 semi-loads to haul in these bees, and he did not notice a problem until he went to check on the hive that last week. Just days before, another beekeeper lost the same amount of hives. Strelo says that this is a massive issue with the chances of finding the bees being very slim. He said, quote, "I put up a ridiculous reward, the kind of reward that would make his accomplice or maybe even his wife turn him in," end quote. At this time, there is currently no person or vehicle of interest in this case, and a cash reward of $100,000 is being offered to anyone who can return the stolen hive.
Some parts of the Northeast are expecting up to 2 inches of snow per hour this week. States like New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut are the primary target, but the surrounding states are bracing for impact as well. Northern PA was hit pretty hard yesterday, but it is tomorrow that people are expecting sledding to make its return to Central Park. It has been 2 years since New York City has been coated with snow, and experts agree that this year's late storm could be the heaviest in almost a decade. The forecast is completely dynamic as it has changed tremendously over the past few days. Now, meteorologists are concluding that Long Island is going to get the most snow with at least 10 inches. Mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, has cautioned residents that there will be low visibility and slippery road conditions at the start of the week. Adams said, quote, we have not had any significant snowfall for quite some time. The time has come. Mother Nature does what she wants to do," end quote. Now, some parts of Long Island and the Jersey Shore are expected to get some coastal flooding as well as the dump of snow. And as for us Yinzers, Pittsburgh is expected to get 2 to 4 inches of snow, but we all know to stay on our toes with how the weather has been recently. Changes have been made in the nation's capital this past week. Reporter Brendan McNamara has more on the White House employee who received an expanded role. Brendan.
Thanks, Jonah. President Biden's national security spokesman, John Kirby, will receive an expanded role at the White House, according to the Associated Press. Kirby will also be getting a new title, White House National Security Communications Advisor, and will be named an assistant to the president. The expanded role has not yet been publicly announced, an unnamed federal official told the AP, under the condition of anonymity. Kirby came to the White House in 2022 as National Security Council Coordinator for the Strategic Communications. Not long after, Karine Jean-Pierre was named White House Press Secretary. He will run a separate team from the National Security Press Team that will coordinate information across agencies. Kirby is a retired U.S. Navy admiral, and his insights on foreign policy issues have been valued by the administration. He also served as the top spokesman at the Pentagon and the State Department during the Obama administration.
Pastor Chris Avell was facing criminal charges for housing and feeding the homeless in his church named Dad's Place located in Bryn, Ohio. The city of Bryn charged Avell with 18 zoning code violations that are punishable by fines or 6 months in jail. Dad's Place then formally filed a case against the city of Bryn for religious discrimination. This past week, the city dropped all charges against Avell, with the church still able to house those without a home. Dad's Place is agreeing to work with the city to meet its safety codes to continue safely providing a place to stay for the homeless. A Michigan fisherman was charged. Reporter Logar Abdus is here with the details as to why. Logar?
Last Wednesday, a fisherman was convicted of 2 federal charges after diverting the flow of the Platte River through Sleeping Bear National Dunes Lakeshore in Michigan. 63-year-old Andrew Howard was found guilty on charges of federal tampering and vandalism after dredging the river by hand. Howard stated that he diverted the river because he was unable to navigate his 16-foot boat into nearby Platte Bay due to a strong current. State or federal authorities dredge the river every fall in order to create an entrance to the lake. The trial brief, however, stated that for a time after the dredge was dug, a, quote, influx in the number of fishermen came to Platte River boat launch to take advantage of the favorable conditions of access created by the new channel, end quote. Local media also stated that Howard was not the only individual to have a gripe with the river's flow. For now, Howard currently faces a maximum of 6 months in prison, as well as a 5-year ban from entering a national park, $5,000 fine, and a minimum of $26,000 in restitution fees.
On last Wednesday, theater goers across the country were shocked by news of an impending strike. Artists from the American Ballet Theater voted 95.6% in favor of authorizing a strike against the management. Now, over the past 8 months, the musicians, dancers, and stage managers have been negotiating expired contracts with no results. The workers claim that only 30% of ABT artists are making a livable income from their salaries. However, the management has only offered a 1% cost of living adjustment for their dancers. The public has been shocked to hear of this financial strain because since ABT is one of the biggest dance companies in America and tours worldwide with their company. For more information and updates on the impending strike, visit the American Guild of Musical Artists, also known as AGMA, on social media or at ABT Official on Instagram. Coming up, 2 Pittsburgh pups make it big at this year's Puppy Bowl. Plus, in more pet news, find out about a pause commencing for a popular spay and neuter Instagram.
It's a tough crowd.
The Pittsburgh Steelers might not be making it to the big game, but 2 adorable locals scored their spot in this year's Puppy Bowl. The 2 stars, Gertie and Good Girl, who are both poodle mixes, are set to face off against each other in Glen Falls, New York. The 2 rescue puppies from the animal sanctuary Paws Across Pittsburgh Animal Rescue have incredible stories. Both were rescued from an Ohio puppy mill as they were planning to be put down. Vicki Thomas of Paws Across Pittsburgh said, quote, "They were deemed unsellable because they had imperfections," end quote. This turned out to work in the dogs' favor as they both were able to find new roles, even surprising their owners. Bethany Hess, Gertie's owner, said, quote, "I was shocked when Vicki called and suggested submitting her. So when we got the call that she was going to be there, we were so excited," end quote. On the other hand, Jesse Boddicker, Good Girl's owner, whose name was now changed to Margot, had no idea their dog even made the cut. Boddicker said, quote, "We adopted her and didn't know that she was going to be in the Puppy Bowl," end quote. If you want to meet the stars, then you're in luck. Margot and Gertie will both be at the American Legion in Brackenridge on February 18th.
Since 1980, Make-A-Wish, a foundation built on defying the odds and living out a dream, has touched the hearts of thousands of people. And on Monday, the Pittsburgh Penguins signed Jaden Flick and Kent Kennedy from the Make-A-Wish Foundation in New Jersey and Toronto, Canada. Jaden and Kent got to watch a full-length practice as well as suit up for the shoot-around on Monday. Both said that meeting their favorite players, was their favorite part. Jaden said, quote, "I'm really excited when we first got here. I was nervous because I was meeting the players, but after meeting all of them, they are really nice and the nervousness kind of went down," end quote. Jaden has been battling Hodgkin's lymphoma and Kent has had kidney trouble since he was born. After the two signed their one-day contracts, the Penguins took to Instagram to recognize the two, saying, "Wishes do come true." Point Park University has officially filled an advising position after weeks of vacancy. Reporter Aaron Ute has the details about who is taking over the position. Aaron?
The School of Communication at Point Park University has finally hired a full-time academic advisor after having various fill-ins since the beginning of the fall semester. Angelo Gargaro, managing director of the new University Advising Center, shared that Nina McEugan will be taking over the position. She has been working as a part-time employee in the tutoring center since 2018. Before this announcement, the School of Communication had been advised by the former Center for Student Success Director Molly McClelland and Gargaro since McClelland's firing before winter break. Someone was hired for the position for about 5 days between McClelland and Gargaro's time, but the individual took on another job opportunity elsewhere. Gargaro also announced that Kristen Steele is the new academic advisor for funeral services, biological sciences, engineering, and forensic science. The advising position had only been vacant since January 12th after former advisor Stephanie Gallagher stepped down from the role. Gallagher is still teaching creative writing classes at the university, and Steele is an adjunct professor for the science department. McEugan and Steele will officially start their advising roles next Monday.
After a 5-week closure, the Monongahela Incline reopened this past Saturday. Pittsburgh Regional Transit announced in a press release that they were forced to close the 154-year-old incline on January 2nd due to electrical and mechanical errors. PRT said that after their work from their contractors was complete, it has now passed inspection by the State Department of Labor and Industry. On Tuesday, however, the incline was out of service again for most of the afternoon rush hour. Riders took to Facebook saying that the sliding doors were not operating properly, though PRT never confirmed a cause. It was around the 6 o'clock hour that PRT announced that the incline was back in service. A few months ago, NewsNight reported on a local coffee shop, Ada Coffee, closing their doors. Today, our reporter Brendan McNamara is here with the most recent development about an agreement reached between the shop and its employees. Brendan?
Thank you, Robert. A local coffee business that closed when its employees announced their intent to unionize has reached an agreement with its former workers. Under the preliminary agreement, Ada Coffee Company will give its employees a compensation package in exchange for the union dropping its petition to the National Labor Relations Board for an election to represent workers, according to KDKA TV News. Ada Coffee and Tea House previously had 4 locations until January, when it announced that it would close immediately due to operational losses. However, the company drew heavy criticism from labor rights advocates, for the timing of the closure came after employees announced they wanted to unionize.
It's Sexual Health Week at Point Park University, a week full of different themed events and opportunities for students to learn in a fun way. The annual Condom Carnival, this week's most popular event, was held on Tuesday evening. Reporter Robert Fornatero is here to tell us what's going on at the carnival.
The annual Condom Carnival, previously known as the Covering Carnival, was a massive hit among Point Park students this past Tuesday. The event, hosted by the university's Campus Activities Board, included an array of games, activities, snacks, and a collection of prizes for students to win at the end of the night raffle.
I love the pink frosted cookies, and personally, I don't eat much because I'm a condom.
I've never gone to a carnival, so this is my first one.
Some of the activities that were a hit included face painting, condom ring toss, bashing boobies, and so much more, which were hosted by other clubs.
My favorite attraction is the booby bashing game.
I would have to say ring toss.
Future events include the Pleasure Bingo, Spicy Book Nook launch, and the extremely popular Drag Night. For more information, please visit the Point Park University Student Health Center page on the Point Park website.
For more CAB-hosted events coming up, visit the Campus Activities Board page on PointSync. Pittsburgh pet owners may have to begin looking elsewhere to spay or neuter their pets. Reporter Loger Abdis has the story. Loger.
The city of Pittsburgh announced on its website that its popular spay and neuter program is being paused indefinitely. The program, funded by taxpayers, is offered in collaboration with Humane Animal Rescue and Animal Friends. Eligible Pittsburgh residents could receive up to 5 free spay or neuter treatments per year. It also worked to provide treatment for feral cat colonies within the city. However, in a recent evaluation of the program, the city found multiple cases of suburban residents using city addresses in order to take advantage of the program. For now, there is no indication of when the program will resume. Animal trapper Desiree Stymack is concerned, stating that, quote, there are mounds of unfixed animals that repopulate, besides being flooded with animals that are multiplying, getting sicker, mating each other, create colonies that are just awful, end quote. Director of Public Safety Lee Schmidt stated that during the pause, quote, we are excited to build a more sustainable and equitable program and are looking forward to rolling out a new and improved program to all city residents that also safeguards good stewardship of taxpayer dollars, end quote. City residents who have already submitted an application for the program or have a procedure currently scheduled will be contacted by the Bureau of Animal Care and Control directly.
Don't go anywhere, because when we get back from the break, we will have your local Pittsburgh weather update. Plus, hear about two principals at a local elementary school making the 100th day of school a memorable one. Stay tuned. Last week, as the nation was gearing up for the big game this past Sunday, two local elementary school principals made the 100th day of school a memorable experience for their students. Mr. Anthony Trozzi and Kelly Della Rose dressed up as Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Trozzi sported a Kelce jacket, and Della Rose's ensemble included a sparkly jacket and skirt, a microphone, and even a t-shirt with math lessons. It said 87, Travis Kelce's jersey number, plus 13 equals 100 to represent the 100th day of school. The South Park School District posted pictures of Trozzi and Della Rose putting smiles on the students' faces. They also gained national recognition when ABC's Good Morning America covered the story for their bright videos. The two principals are known for creating a fun learning environment for their students. During this past holiday season, the two dressed up as Elf on the Shelf characters to get students excited about the countdown to the holiday break. Many parents and members of the South Park community commented on Facebook praising the two principals. One comment read, quote, "So glad to see principals who are making school a fun place to be," end quote. As mentioned earlier in the program, the northern states are expecting to see intense winter weather. Pittsburgh is no exception and will also see some of this frosty forecast. Weather reporter Cade Montgomery has the details for the upcoming days. Cade?
That's right, Robert. Long sleeves and jackets are a must tomorrow, as the temperature throughout the day will range from warm to frigid. The day will start contently around 49 degrees with pretty moderate wind gusts. It'll get a little warmer going into the day, going up to 56 degrees, but it'll still feel like mid-40s, along with moments of rain and high winds up to 35 miles per hour. Last, but certainly not least, the temperature in the evening will drop drastically to the early 30s with a feel of 22 degrees. This is definitely a day to be aware of your clothing choice and maybe even make some changes in between. Now we're going to move on to our weekly forecast. Days like tomorrow are going to be very common, as every day will range from mid-60s to low 30s. Not only will the temperatures fluctuate, but we're going to see that classic Pittsburgh gray sky and clouds leading into next week. It's not the only weather blunder, as it will also periodically rain in the afternoon and evening, especially on Tuesday and Thursday. So don't get rid of those winter clothes just yet, because there's still much more time till spring, unlike what that groundhog told us. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel or our website, uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Robert Fornatero.
And I'm Jonah Summers. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching, happy Valentine's Day, and have a great evening.